I'm figuring out how I'm using my new app here. Right, okay, I think you can see me. Right, so what I've been up to is that I've had the coronavirus for the last, since the 10th of March, and today is the first day I feel better. And I basically, it was a very scary time. So I don't know who out there is having, you know, any issues with anxiety or feeling a bit scared about all of this. But, you know, I am available if people want to talk to me. And I'm also looking at astrology as well. And I think that it's important that we, you know, I've noticed a lot of people have dropped off on Facebook at the moment, because I think what's happened is that a lot of people are spending time with family members and they're not able to get away from their children or partners or whatever. So, you know, we must, I think it's good if we all keep in contact. There's going to be some of us that are on our own. Like for me, I live on my own. So I've been very isolated, and I wasn't able to go out for many days because of this virus. I had to get people to bring me food in and stuff like that. But I'm going to show you a bit of astrology. If you want to find out and maybe look at your chart, going on to a different subject here, what I'm going to do is, what you can do is that you can see this chart that I've got here. What you can do is find out your own birth natal chart, and if you've got your time, date, place, time of birth, place of birth and date of birth, what you'll be able to do is go to this site here, which is called Astro Seek. And then you would, I'm going to show you, this is today's chart. As an astrologer, part astrologer, what I look at is, you know, the activity that's going on in the skies right now. So for instance, if you don't know what an astrology chart is, you won't know what you're looking at. But this chart is today's chart. It's dated, if I go one day back, this is yesterday's chart, Saturday, this is today's, and it tells you what are happening with the planets. And as an astrologer, what happens is that you begin to understand what an aspect is. So Sun square Jupiter, Sun square Pluto, Moon opposition Mercury, all of these planets, these lines here are the way the planets speak to each other. So as an astrologers are able to define what's going on in society by looking at the a chart, and you know, the houses, the signs, the houses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then the planets and the degrees and the way the planets talk to each other. So on the 20, I think it was the 12th of January, we had something called Pluto-Saturn conjunction. So Pluto was at 22 degrees in Capricorn and Saturn was at 22 degrees in Capricorn. And what that meant at the time was that astrologers could see that there was going to be a breakdown of structure and as in the way as we see it. And that's exactly what's happened. So the structure of society right now has fallen to pieces. And that was actually seen in astrology very much the whole of last year. If you go on Google and put in the Pluto-Saturn conjunction, you'll get an understanding of how astrologers knew that we were going to have this meltdown in society. But, you know, there's some good stuff here. This is what's going on is probably going to play out for the most of the year, but I think that's obvious to most of us. And what else can I tell you? I can tell you that I'm much better than I was. And there were a lot of symptoms I had that were very scary. So don't, if you feel a bit scared out there, just, you know, make sure you're staying in contact with people so that you don't feel all this fear that's going around. Then the other thing I'm going to show you, I'm rambling a bit, but I don't think it really matters. I think we're all at where we're at the moment. So if you want to look at your own birth chart, what you can do is go to this here where I'm clicking now, and it says birth chart, and you can get your own birth chart. You put in your date of birth. So for instance, mine is the 21st of May. I'm going to show you 1966. Where am I? So what I'm showing you is how you can access your own chart. You do need your time of birth. Without your time of birth, you're not going to get exactly what you need. I was born at 8:30 p.m. on the 21st of May. 8:30, and I was born in London. So you put in your thing there, and then you'll see wherever you are come up. And then it says, I use extended settings here because of what I do. So I wouldn't use, these are house systems. So in Evolutionary Astrology, we use porphyry, and then you can add other planets, and this gets quite complex, but I'm just going to then show you my chart. So you're going to be able to do this. It could be quite interesting if you want to do a bit of study on knowing yourself at this period of time. You know, this is a great time to find out who we are. So you can play this back if you haven't just seen what I've just done. So you access your own birth chart, and then you scroll down, and it's going to give you an entire understanding, you know, as best as possible of your natal chart at birth, which is fantastic. But you do need the birth time, otherwise you're going to come up with some stuff that you don't really, you know, it's not going to match who you are. So in Evolutionary Astrology, what we basically look at is we start with Pluto. Here you've got Pluto, so you can read the bit about Pluto, and these things here are aspects. So this is what Pluto does. You know, Pluto squares my moon, it quintiles my Jupiter, it's conjunct Uranus. This is astrology language. And then the other thing is the lunar nodes, and this is our path in life. So you can also do that too. So, and if you want me to do a natal reading or a transit reading for you, that's a whole different thing. So I've got a lot to share. It's been a very difficult few weeks for me myself. Funnily enough, I did go out to get some hair color today because I noticed in these 3 weeks that I've been freaked out that, you know, my hair sort of went into a bit of a shock mode. Bless us all. Anyway, so I went to get some hair color, and the hair color section was closed in the chemist that I went to for some reason. So I guess I'll have to order some online, because none of us are going to the hairdressers at the moment unless we have a friend who's a hairdresser, I guess. Okay, so that's it. I've rambled a bit there, and I started it a bit rambling. So I don't know if anybody's there wants to say hello to me. I've got 2 people watching. I've been on for 8 minutes. I don't know who's watching me, ladies, but you know, we can all support each other, and you know, we'll get to drop the fear as well. We don't want to be too much in fear-based thinking. You know, I had that virus. I had it from the 10th of March, and it literally has eased off in the last 48 hours. I've still got shooting pains in my ears, and a little bit of nausea left, but there were many symptoms. There weren't just you know, what I've seen in newspapers and such like, where they're saying that it's just a temperature or coughing. It's more than that. You know, it's a very rough thing to have. So from my own perspective, I understand the isolation of it all, but I wouldn't want anybody to suffer what I've been through, that's for sure, over the last 3 weeks. And particularly when you've got to isolate on your own, it's very highly unpleasant. So if anybody's got any questions there, otherwise I'm going to sign off in a minute, but I'm going to scroll back first on this. To do your own chart, that you go to this site and you Astro Seek, and then you'll be able to put your time of birth in, date of birth, and you'll be able to pull up your own birth chart, and then you can start reading, and you'll begin to know yourself better. And as you learn, you know, it's a way of knowing ourselves. Astrology dates back thousands of years. The way I would describe it is like man or humanity, you know, would have been sitting looking at the stars, and then they would have got to a point where they would, you know, give meaning to the stars based on the cycles. Like we give a meaning to a full moon, and, you know, where the moon is and what sign it's in. So we're going to have a full moon in Taurus or Libra, I think, coming up, or a new moon. I should know better with what I do, but this is a beautiful tool. So we then extract information from the stars because we understand as astrologers. So for instance, I've got Pluto here squaring my moon at birth, and that shows my, you know, a lot of hardship in my childhood with mother. This symbolism here shows abuse at home in my family as a child. So a chart will show, and it shows your life path as well. So when you begin to study this stuff, it's going to, you know, it can ground you. It can help you understand something about yourself. So it's a very valuable tool. 3 people there, 2 comments. Who's there? How exciting. Oh, Laurie's there. Thank you for being so brave and honest. Thank you, Laurie. You are too. We're in a team of women, and there are many of us who are brave and honest. It's incredible how many of us there are. So I would say that you can do this wonderful thing if you need help with this. What I'm doing is that, you know, during this lockdown, because I've got to feed myself as well, I'm basically, I've brought my cost down to $20 for an hour with me. And I'm not here to advertise myself. I'm just telling you that how I'm running my own life at the moment, you know, because I do YouTubes and people book me over there. But I'm here to be of service. And then at the same time, I've got to feed myself because I left a business behind. My life fell to bits in 2016 when I had a breakdown, which was a wonderful thing on hindsight, the best thing that ever happened to me. And the beautiful thing about having this virus over the last 3 weeks, it made me realize that the plans for my life that I had prior to having this, I still have those same plans, you know, to work, do my work on YouTube, to write, to put information out there, to be of service. And, you know, there's nothing I'm going to be changing. I'm quite happy with this lockdown, to be honest with you. I think that what childhood trauma does is that it almost, you know, I was living my whole life in hypervigilance, like being a child at home and being sexually abused and living my life in hypervigilance and fear of the authority and stuff like that. For me, watching authority, the whole authority, the fake authority fall to pieces as a result, and the financial stuff gives me a sense of peace, you know, that we can, you know, now step into our power and humanity, that we do have power, that it's not all doom and gloom, and that this time that we've got off, to use it wisely, to not waste this time, you know, to, you know, maybe do some online courses. There's Udemy, I think there's a few brilliant things that we can do for ourselves, you know, clean up our act, get our homes clean, get some exercise going, start looking at our diet. And, you know, for me, looking at chart work is one way that I heal myself. And then I help other people by looking at their charts as well, because that's the thing that solved a lot for me. When we look at a chart, we can see our power, we can see our, you know, dispositions, and we can see where we need to go. So if you didn't get how to get this free birth chart to look at all of your natal placements, then you just play the video back. It's a short one. I'm going to go. Laurie's there. Jessica there is watching too. Thank you, Jessica. And I'm going to get on. I'm going to have a little snack to eat. And I'm going to order some hair color from Amazon and hopefully deliver so I can get my hair colored in the next few days. And please myself in ways that I can. But I hope everyone's all right out there. I'm here if I'm needed. Okay? Take care. Catch you later. I'm going to come out of this. I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out. Let's see. Let me see. It's all new to me, this system. Okay. End meeting. There you go. I'll catch you. I'm going to do a few more, so I'll catch up with you. Corey, you're there? That's okay. Play it back and you'll see what I've been up to, and then I'll catch up with everybody later. Thanks for watching.